And right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
Who hides evidence? Criminals hide evidence.
They put those ballots in a secret folder in the machines, sitting there waiting until they know how many they need.
Because there's not a singular voter fraud in one state. This pattern repeats itself in a number of states. Almost exactly the same pattern.
When you hear, while there is no evidence to prove any wrongdoing, this is the most fraudulent thing anybody's. This is a criminal enterprise.
This week, we're learning about convergence theory, an idea put forth by Jeffrey Jones in the assigned chapter to explain how changes in our media have resulted in changes in our culture, including changes in our politics. As humans have moved from newspapers and books, which are read alone in silence, to TVs, which are watched alone or in small groups with minimal conversation, and now onto social media, which is shared, manipulated, photoshopped, memed, commented on, edited, interacted with. As we've moved through those stages, what it means to be a citizen has changed a lot, and how we learn about things has changed a lot. Now, cultural events aren't just filmed and reported on anymore. They're filmed from multiple angles, multiple perspectives, and they're shared through multiple sources with varied stories and claims to accuracy. In short, we become more interactive in our media consumption and less able to discern which things we see are true and which are exaggerated or completely faked. That's the background for Jones's book. You'll notice I started with some clips of the U.S. Capitol breach on January 6th. I think this is a great example of the sort of cultural event that Jones is really trying to get at. We didn't just watch this thing on the nightly news. Those of us that were here lived it. We shared it. We watched it live, and we tweeted, called our families, texted, commented. It was an interactive event.
Can I speak to Pelosi? Yeah, we're coming, bitch! Oh, my bitch, we're coming for you too, fucking traitor!
In fact, that's the only way it happened the way it did. Now, Jones's chapter was written shortly after the 2012 election, so our goal this week is to take his findings and to pull them forward into the 2016, the 2020, the 2024 election, and on into the future. And we can do that by looking at the media of different eras as a reflection of cultural norms. What we're tuning into as a country becomes a pattern for success that politicians follow. You've got to get the citizens on board if you want them to vote for you. If you look at the top-rated TV shows of 2023, the list is revealing. This is from Variety magazine if you want to look it up, but the data they're reporting on is from Nielsen, a well-respected source for television ratings. And you can see that in 2023, our top choices in the US mirror our top choices online. Violence, mayhem, and sex sells better than ever before. The reality TV shows of 10 years ago have evolved to fit a social media world where owning your opponent with rhetorical jabs and name-calling, it's kind of in vogue. We've always enjoyed debate as humans, and we've always kind of enjoyed watching people put other people in their place, so to speak. But what changes over the eras is the style and method of debate and argumentation, the methods of violence which are acceptable to consume. Our tastes have changed alongside our media. If you go back just 10 years ago, you'll notice that the number of evil character, crime is rampant TV shows that topped the charts was much lower. People watched different TV. Our media cesspool hadn't yet become as toxic as it is now. And at the time, successful political campaigns, as always, mimicked the successful media content of their era. Obama's 2012 campaign had moments of insult, rhetoric, name-calling.
Well, let's talk about that. You should have answered the first question.
But it was nothing like what happened half a decade later when Trump ascended to power. Actually, I guess he descended down the escalator. If you go back even further, say to the 1990s, You'll notice an even more obvious difference in both popular media depictions and in successful political campaigns of the time. Again, they mimicked one another. Successful politicians have always made their campaigns into cultural events. It's got to be bigger than politics.
We're having an election today. You'll have a shot at me in 4 years, and you can vote me right out if you think I've done a lousy job. And I would welcome you to do that.
Mr. President.
Well, I'm a little confused here because I don't see how you can grow the deficit down by raising people's taxes.
That means if you ever really love or hate a politician, you're actually really loving or hating something about the people who live next door to you, and by proxy, about the culture that shaped them and was shaped by them, that shaped you and was shaped by you. Anyway, the political debates of the 1990s mirrored the TV content of the 1990s. Polite jabs, gotcha moments, name-calling. It was all there, but it had a veneer of respectability that looked a lot like primetime TV.
And what I'm looking for is who did it. Now, they're the two folks involved, so maybe if you put them together, they did it.
Of course, today, our days of rabbit ears and antenna TV are long gone. Now we interact with our media. We comment on it. We take clips of it and share it. We sample it for our blog or for a school project. Social media is a reflection of how we've come to think and to interact with the world around us as humans. Think about social media and how it really works to shape us as humans. For example, when we don't have to look someone in the eye, we're more likely to treat them coldly or even cruelly. When we can access TED Talks on any topic and academic papers in seconds, or when we can see findings from those reputable sources summarized over and over by Twitter bots and AI engines, we come to feel as if we're smarter than we actually are because we no longer find ourselves feeling like, dang, I really wish I knew that thing. I can't wait to get to the library or to class to learn about it. We just search Google and it feels as if we know in 5 minutes or less. And we probably don't even read the entire article or watch the entire video because it's faster and more enjoyable to just watch that clip that summarizes it to the point so I can get back to whatever I was doing before I discovered that pesky lack of knowledge. That's how social media has shaped us. Now think about those same things in relationship to Trump, who, believe it or not, has been the same guy for more than 40 years of public life. He's been loud, mean, vengeful, womanizing, defined purely by wealth, success in business, and gold toilets. That's always been him. He's been proud of it. But he ran for president 4 times before he was elected. And in 2004, when he hinted that he might run but never threw his hat in, and in the following years when he ran and lost, America just wasn't in a place where he fit our culture. But by 2016, that had changed.
And a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Mr. President? Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me.
His style felt so natural and even fun to so many because it mimicked the social media norms that have developed of knowing everything, of fact-checking nothing, of never admitting mistakes, of putting our own personal spin on everything, of calling names, of owning those who disagree with us.
I want to respond. These are good people who are tainted by a broken system, and it's not the fault of anybody who's involved.
Some of us are tainted, but the bottom line is when you say
Excuse me.
Thank
you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
You said
If I may finish. If I may finish.
You can't be on both sides.
Gentlemen, you'll have your turn.
One of the challenges
So listen up.
we should have
Please focus on the issues that matter. We know we did business in China. Everybody knows that.
We're sitting here in the Reagan Library.
Yes, I wish you would
in honor of Ronald Reagan's library. If I may, from one admirer of Ronald Reagan to another. From one admirer of Reagan to another, we cannot sit here and violate Reagan's 11th commandment.
I want to hear about that.
Let's have a policy debate.
What's going on?
Let us have a policy debate.
Let's have about their records.
Let's have a policy debate. And the right answer is we need to declare independence.
Trump didn't change. America changed. Humans have always kind of enjoyed meanness, but we've always also disliked it. especially when we think it's being done to us or to people we care about. So those that can do it with humor, or satire, as Jones called it this week in the assigned chapter, they tend to receive less criticism. Trump's humor prevents many of his supporters from criticizing or even noticing his meanness. In the same way, his spinning of the story to fit his perspective works so well in our day and age because, as Jones also noted this week, we live in a world where most of our news is spun, twisted, headlined, memed, commented on, repackaged. And research shows us over and over that most people who see an article linked online read the title and nothing else. So humor in our meanness sells best because we want a short, quick message that gets through to us, makes us chuckle if possible, and we can go on about our days. Now, of course, Jones was talking about how in 2012, the reality TV norm was sort of bleeding into politics. But nowadays, the reality TV norm has been updated, a situation which became incredibly obvious at the end of the second Republican debate of 2023.
It's now obvious that if you all stay in the race, former President Donald Trump wins the nomination. None of you have indicated that you're dropping out. So, which one of you on stage tonight should be voted off the island? Please use your marker to write your choice on the notepad in front of you. 15 seconds, starting now. Of the people on the stage, who should be? I'm absolutely serious.
With all due respect, I mean, we're here, like, we're happy to debate, but I think that that's disrespectful to my fellow competitors.
Nobody wants to participate.
Let's do some questions.